Welcome to Cardinal FG. We are a management-owned S-corporation leading the industry in the development of residential glass for windows and doors. With corporate headquarters in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, we have grown to more than 10,000 employees located at more than 49 locations around the United States. Each plant operates as a separate profit center, with our primary business being to provide high-quality insulating glass units to residential window markets. Cardinal FG is the first step in the value-added process that makes Cardinal the largest producer of insulated glass units. Cardinal FG in Menominee is ISO 9001 and 45001 certified and one of two float glass plants in Wisconsin. Using a 5-port furnace, we produce soda lime glass by floating it over molten tin, then stretching the glass to produce over 600 tons per day in thickness ranging from 2.2 mm to 5.7 mm. We supply Cardinal fabricating facilities with raw, annealed glass to be tempered, coated, insulated and/or laminated, then built into energy-efficient units. These units are used by residential window and door manufacturing companies. What makes our facility unique to the Cardinal family? Built in 1992, we were the first float glass plant in Cardinal's history. Control of our process is managed by employees interacting with our live monitoring equipment using state-of-the-art technology. We employ an average of 200 employees in our 24-hour continuous flow production facility. Ensuring a safe working environment is our top priority, and we look forward to working safely together to achieve our mutual goals. Cardinal FG, Menominee is dedicated to the protection of its employees and other on-site workers. Our expectation is to ensure all full-time, part-time, and contracted employees are properly trained on the hazards in our facility, the required personal protective equipment, and how to safely operate equipment at our site. All people working at Cardinal FG, Menominee are expected to put their best effort into operating safely and keeping themselves and their coworkers out of harm's way. Contractors on site are not directly supervised by Cardinal FG, Menominee. It is the sole responsibility of the contractor to manage and supervise their employees and any subcontractors hired at the contractor's discretion. It is important to check in and out each day. Enter the main entrance, where you'll see a kiosk. Enter your information, then select the Cardinal employee you communicate with. If you have a group of people, the supervisor may sign in as the representative for the group. This person must sign in and out each day and is responsible for knowing the location of all members of their team. All contractors, subcontractors, and vendor employees must attend MNFG contractor orientation prior to beginning work at Cardinal MNFG. Contractors and subcontractors shall comply with all applicable governmental, state, and local EHS laws, regulations, rules, codes, and other documents referenced in the contract. Each contractor must complete our contractor safety training, video, and contractor safety checklist annually to show their awareness of facility safety requirements. Contract workers are selected based on their participation and score in the ISN network. You must have a passing grade with ISN to perform work at Cardinal. Please discuss this with your Cardinal contact person if you have any questions. The most important safety rule to follow is your common sense. Be alert and do not rush. Look out for forklift and pedestrian traffic. Just because you see the forklift doesn't mean the operator sees you. If you are uncertain whether you should enter an area, stop and ask. The caution tape used on site is yellow and/or red. Report all injuries, incidents, and near-miss events to your Cardinal contact person. The following tasks require proof of training before work can begin: respirator use, confined space entry, lockout, tagout, welding, cutting, mobile equipment operation, elevated work, fall protection, and aerial lift. At Cardinal, safety and compliance are non-negotiable. If at any time workers need to operate Cardinal-owned equipment, documentation of training must be provided. If not previously trained, the contracted employee must be trained by a Cardinal-certified trainer before use. Every piece of equipment must undergo a documented pre-shift inspection. Equipment must be maintained in safe operating condition at all times. Seatbelts are to be worn, always. When using articulating lifts, fall protection is mandatory. When working from a scissor lift, all tasks must be performed from the platform, never from the rails or outside the lift. Operators must remain vigilant, watching for pedestrians and other equipment at all times. Speed shall not exceed 6 miles per hour inside the facility and 15 miles per hour on the plant site. And finally, always maintain proper clearance from electrical lines. Safety is everyone's responsibility. Let's work together to keep our site safe and efficient. The OSHA Control of Hazardous Energy Standard 1910.147 requires that Cardinal and any contracted employer inform each other of their respective lockout or tagout procedures. The standard also requires that Cardinal ensures employees understand and comply with the contracted employer's lockout or tagout procedures. Communication of these procedures is important when working on a job task. Specific lockout/tagout procedures are available for equipment within this facility, and copies of the procedures are available upon request. If there are any questions or concerns about any equipment or possible energy sources in the plant, our maintenance or engineering department managers should be contacted. Electric panel entry is restricted to personnel trained in arc flash. It is appropriate to only work on and around electrical equipment you have been trained and authorized to complete work on. Store materials, park vehicles, or leave equipment more than 3 feet from breaker panels, transformers, and other electrical equipment. Use grounded or double-insulated tools, cords, and other electrical equipment. Use ground fault circuit interrupters, GFCI, for all construction activity. Ground wires from poles, towers, fences, transformers, motors, panels, or other electrical equipment shall not be removed. Work at Cardinal may require entry of an area that has been identified as confined space. Cardinal labels all confined space areas. Before entering any confined space area, contact maintenance or our safety manager for information about the hazards associated with that confined space and obtain any required permits. The OSHA Hazard Communication Standard requires that all contracted employees be informed of any hazardous chemicals they may be exposed to while performing work, and any requirements for appropriate protective measures. Safety data sheets are available for all chemicals in the plant by requesting this information from your Cardinal contact or our safety manager, or using any computer on our company intranet. If there are any questions or concerns about any chemicals or substances, contact the safety manager or environmental engineer for information concerning the location of the substances and associated safety data sheets, as well as any required personal protective equipment. The biggest hazard at most work sites is the working climbing surfaces. Be aware that we use an interleaving powder, which can cause slick walking surfaces. Help us maintain good housekeeping to reduce slips, trips, and falls by maintaining a clean work area. Again, if there are any concerns, please speak with our safety manager or your contact person. Eye-wash stations are strategically located throughout our facility to ensure quick access in case of an emergency. You'll find them in the first aid room, the batch house, maintenance and wet lab areas, the water treatment plant, and the chemical room. Always know your nearest station. Safety starts with awareness. Any welding, cutting, brazing, etc. will need to be coordinated with Cardinal's maintenance manager prior to work being performed. A hot work permit will need to be filled out, fire extinguishers will be at the job site, and all precautions for fire prevention will be made. Cardinal requires that all outside contractors be issued an FM Global Hot Work Permit before performing any grinding, welding, cutting, or any process that creates a spark. Contact our maintenance supervisor or safety manager to obtain a hot work permit. The OSHA Personal Protective Equipment Standard requires that an employer assess the workplace for hazards and identify personal protective equipment that would be required to protect employees. Cardinal has identified eye and foot protection as a minimum for performing work. While hearing protection is not required at MNFG, we encourage you to use it. You will find earplug dispensers located throughout the plant. Safety glasses must have approved side shields. Prescription glasses must either be approved safety glasses with prescription lenses, or approved eye protection which fits over the prescription lenses without interfering with the position of the prescription or protective lenses. Safety shoes must meet the ASTM F241318 specification. Speak with our safety manager for any other concerns about PPE. PPE will vary depending on the work area and the type of work being performed. Electricians must have non-conductive frames with side shields securely attached and follow all arc flash protocol for energized circuits. When grinding or using spark-producing tools, wear a face shield. Tinted shields are required when cutting or welding. Cardinal requires long pants, safety shoes, vest and safety glasses to be worn. Long hair and beards must be above the shoulders and shirts require at least a 4-inch sleeve. PPE signs are available throughout the plant as reminders. If contractors are working in specialized, hazardous or remote areas of our facility and only one representative from the contracted company is present, an appropriately trained employee of Cardinal FG, nominee will be assigned to work with them and will be equipped with a radio and any other necessary safety gear. In the event there is an emergency, procedures are posted near every phone, which is recognized by the blue stripe on the top of the pole. For a fire, evacuate using the closest, safe route. Meet in the parking lot unless instructed otherwise. In a medical emergency, dial *7, state code blue, and safety team report to. Describe your location in the plant specifically, then repeat this information. For a weather emergency, go to the nearest shelter as designated on the plant map. In a utility failure, wait for instructions. These will be announced on the paging system or communicated by the supervisor. Fire extinguishers are available around the plant on I-beams painted red, on forklifts, torch carts, and in stores. Report all fires and use of a fire extinguisher to your Cardinal contact. If performing hot work, an extinguisher must be available. To operate a fire extinguisher, use the pass method, pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. We care about our environment and ask you to follow these guidelines to meet our expectations. Share SDSs for any chemicals/substances brought onto Cardinal MNFG premises. Comply with the Cardinal MNFG Hazard Communication Program. Store and label all flammable liquids properly, no plastic containers, according to OSHA and/or NFPA standards. Releases to the environment are considered a serious matter even if the material released is not generally considered hazardous. Releases that could be encountered: oil/petroleum spills, hazardous waste spills, hazardous substances spills/releases, fires or explosives related to the above. In the event a spill or environmental release occurs, attempt to contain the release without risking bodily harm. If there is immediate danger, evacuate the area and contact your Cardinal contact person. Provide them with the details of the release, even if the material is not considered hazardous. Report the following: exact location of release, type and description of release, estimated amount of material released, extent of injury or property damage. What actions have been taken? From this point, you will be provided instructions, and your Cardinal contact person will notify the correct people. Any hazardous waste generated by the contractor will be disposed of in accordance with Cardinal's waste disposal plan. This includes batteries, engine oil, transmission fluids, fluorescent lights, hydraulic fluid, filters, radiator fluids, and tires. The environmental coordinator should be contacted for assistance with disposal of any items. Housekeeping is the responsibility of each contractor and they shall have a daily cleanup plan. Stack material to maintain safe clearances and prevent toppling. Remove loose overhead materials. Immediately remove or bend over any nails protruding from lumber. Locate containers throughout the work area for collection of trash and empty on a regular basis. Maintain unobstructed passageways for pedestrian walkways, stairways, paths of egress, and vehicle traffic. Obtain approval for material storage from your Cardinal contact person. Secure all loose material on roofs and maintain roof areas free of combustibles, trash, and debris. Maintain hoses and cords so that they will not become tripping hazards. Store material or equipment clear of high voltage lines or equipment. One of the most important safety practices on site is good housekeeping. It's not just about cleanliness, it's about keeping everyone safe, efficient, and compliant. If you're ever unsure about housekeeping procedures, ask your contact person or supervisor. Safety is everyone's job, and it starts with a clean, organized workspace. Falls are one of the leading causes of workplace injuries, and they are preventable. Fall protection is required when working 4 feet or more above the floor or platform level. It's also mandatory anytime you're working above hazardous operations, no matter the height. If you're using aerial lifts, like man lifts, man baskets, or bucket trucks, fall protection is a must. All personnel using fall arrest or restraint equipment must have documented training. Use of this equipment must be supervised by someone competent in fall protection systems. Anchor points are critical and must support 5,000 pounds. And finally, inspect all fall protection equipment before each use. If it's not safe, don't use it. When working with ladders and scaffolding, safety is not optional, it's essential. All ladders and scaffolding must be in safe working condition. Ladders should be inspected daily before use to ensure they are free from damage or defects. Ladders must be unpainted and made from non-conductive materials. That means, no aluminum ladders. Scaffolds must be erected by a competent, documented, and experienced person. Never attempt to build or modify scaffolding unless you are qualified to do so. Ladders must extend 3 feet beyond the level being accessed. Do not use a step ladder as a straight ladder. Do not climb higher than the second step from the top on a step ladder. Set up straight ladders using the 4-to-1 rule. Do not lean over the center of a ladder. Aluminum is not permitted on cardinal grounds as it is detrimental to our process and causes defects within our glass. Drugs, alcohol, weapons, and tobacco are not permitted on cardinal property. Use the main parking lot unless instructed otherwise and stay in designated walkways, using the man doors, not vehicle or bay doors. Cardinal property shall not be removed without prior approval. Contractors must receive prior approval to allow guests to accompany them at MNFG. All visitors must sign in at the front desk. Restrooms are conveniently located throughout the plant. You'll find them in the batch house, the hot end, near the cafeteria, in the front office, and in the warehouse. All incidents, medical or property related, must be reported to the safety manager immediately. At Cardinal FG in Menominee, we are proud to be pursuing STAR status through OSHA's Voluntary Protection Program, a recognition of our commitment to workplace safety and health. You have important rights when it comes to your safety on the job. You have the right to bring safety and health concerns to your employer's attention. You can openly discuss safety and health matters with your coworkers. You have the right to refuse dangerous tasks under certain conditions. You may file safety and health grievances without fear of retaliation. You can participate in safety and health inspections alongside an OSHA inspector. And you have the right to file a complaint about workplace hazards with OSHA, your local health or fire department, or another appropriate agency. You may also request that your name be kept confidential. At Cardinal FG, safety is not just a priority, it's a core value. We are an ISO-registered plant and receive periodic audits against the 9001 to 2015 and 45001 to 2018 standards. These standards require our employees and contractors to be aware of our safety, quality, and environmental policies, our plant vision, values, and objectives. Throughout our plant, you will see this information posted. We don't expect you to memorize this, but we do expect that you'll be able to show an auditor where this information is located. With this contractor training, you will have received a separate copy of this information. Our plant values, quality policy, and environmental policy are also displayed throughout the plant. Communication is a critical part of a contracted working relationship. Within our facility, dial *7 on any phone to communicate on our paging system. If there are any questions or concerns, contact these Cardinal employees shown here. If they are unavailable, the hot end or cold end should always have a supervisor or manager present to help. Thank you for completing our contractor safety training. Before you begin work, please ensure that you have signed the contractor agreement form and verified documentation for any equipment you may need to use. If you have not yet received a copy of the contractor safety checklist, our plant map, and ISO information, please ask. We look forward to working together to build a strong working relationship in a safe and respectful environment. Thank you, and remember to work safely.